Hello, friends. This is your host, Seema Sharma, in your favorite program, The Money Minutes, brought to you by Wealth and Estate Financial Canada Inc. Our guest today is Mr. Hany Adam, an award winning real estate broker with Signature Realty for 12 years. He moved here from Egypt 20 years ago, has two children, and married to his wife for 25 years. Thank you very much, Hany, for joining us today. We have lots of questions for you in regards to what's happening in the real estate market. What do you think it'll take and for markets to go in the right direction, go up?
I would say about 2, 3 months max.
2, 3 months?
We start to see some significant move to the right direction in the
Okay.
last few
Like
weeks.
people are not selling, they're afraid of selling their homes, and the buyers, they're looking for a good deal. They're saying the market is down, nothing is being sold, so I should be getting a good deal.
Absolutely. So when you look at the numbers like which was released lately, about 70 we lost 70% of the volume. What I mean by that is if we used to sell 1,000 unit in April, let's say that because the number of Mays hasn't been out yet. So let's say talk about April. So if we used to sell like 1,000 unit in April, we sold only 300, which means we're down by 70%. If you are talking about the price, April 2019 versus April 2020, we are up by 1.5%, which means prices hasn't gone down. However, the volume went down, which obviously because of the corona. Nobody wants people to come into their house because obviously they're gonna touch everything, and after each and every visit, the seller gonna go and clean up all the stuff, which is gonna be headache. Unless the seller wants to sell really right now, he
Mm-hmm.
won't sell, which means yes, some people that I recall in 2017 when people used to buy first before they sell because they can sell their house in a heartbeat, which that's exactly what happened January, February, and part of March. This kind of people who
think that
already
people
sold.
people were bidding for houses in
Absolutely,
2018.
we've seen it. We've seen betting even until early March. We've seen, but the number of bids start to get less and less and less, which is obvious. So instead of you seeing 17, 18 bids on a house, now you see right now 3 or 4. That's at the early Corona. Last week we start to see 8 and 9 bids on a certain house. So we cannot generalize everything. It's certain areas, certain pockets, certain price range. That's what I always give.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody asks me a question, it's not just one size fits all.
No.
It's certain area, certain price range, and certain pockets even in the area.
Okay. So do you think it's a good time for first-time home buyers to look into houses?
It's never been like today because think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Prices are, market is still, shaking a little bit. Prices hasn't, resumed what was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be in if there was no corona pandemic, hit us, and the interest rate is the lowest in history. Now you can get, oh yeah, now you can get like 2.2% 5-year fix. It's unbelievable. Yes, yes. The $100,000 right now could cost you around to $42 a month, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Yes.
Wow. So are
I'm
there
sorry, for 20. Yeah, I'm sorry.
are there enough listings for new home buyers to choose the right, is there a variety of listings or they're bound to buy what's out there in the market?
Yes, it's a good question, Seema. Yeah, it's all supply and demand. As you may know right now, there is not enough supplies. What I say earlier is 300 out of 1,000 we used to sell, which means there is not enough inventory. So people can buy houses wherever they can find. Imagine into the market and you're shopping for any product, even clothes, food, goodies, whatever. So sometimes when you have uh, certain varieties, even for an item, you can go pick this one or that one. But when you're down, to few in the box, you're gonna take whatever left if
Mm-hmm.
you really need it. Yeah, and that's exactly what I've seen right now.
So you're seeing that because of low interest rate, it makes it a very hot market
It
for
is.
first-time home buyers to buy
It
a property.
it has been that way, and it will always be this way. regardless of what kind of, yeah, it will be that way regardless of what the government tried to intervene to make it easy for the first time home buyer. It's all for the news sake, not for the actual first time home buyer.
Hmm. But you're saying, are there enough listings for, there are not
No.
enough listings for people to kind of be picky and say this
Oh
is,
no,
what
no.
about condominium market? What about the smaller one bedroom, two bedroom markets? Is that down right now, or that's what's selling the most?
Okay, great question, because as I said earlier, certain price bracket, are, heating up this time. So when you talk about the condominium, let's say, like, take the price bracket of $500,000. Could get you like something really decent in Mississauga, one bedroom condo. For a young couple, it's gonna be more than enough for them. How much would cost them per month? It's gonna cost them around like a couple thousand or $2,200 a month to pay mortgage. Plus, that's not only mortgage; it's gonna be like principal and the interest. That means if they're gonna save or build equity about like 1,100 a month each and
Yeah.
every month. So by saying that, it's a good investment for them or a good start for them for a couple. That's why you see like lots and lots of pressure on that you know price sector or price bracket, so to speak. Anything I would say like from the 5 up to 8. That's really really hard these days. If you go above 1 million, it's a little bit slow.
Hard to sell.
Yeah, these days.
Because
Plus,
I think with $500,000 property, you need to have at least $120,000 income,
yes, if you can say like, yeah, if you put like about like what, like 20%, you mean, or yeah, about 100, 120, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So when you have young couple, like I remember when I turned 20, I already had a house in Canada, but
correct.
I don't think people can do that anymore.
No, not anymore, unfortunately. Yeah,
People,
unfortunately, you can,
a couple needs to have 60,000 each job, or
which is tough. Yeah, which is really tough nowadays. Yes.
right? But I would say, a person like you who's busy, even Corona time, you, I know you sell no matter what. All right. Um,
Well,
Corona
yeah,
has been very hard, but I know you've been the busiest at Signature. So what can you tell me? Like, what do you do differently for your clients compared to other brokers, other advisors?
okay, so nowadays I turn into the, I would say, like consulting firm.
Hmm.
Anybody needs to ask any question about anything in life, I'll try to get them the answer. Try to step in and help people. I even like started some initiative like to help people who are in need. For during this time, I offer like to give elderly people like drive them around. Can get them some sort of help them like buy their groceries and stuff like that, or go buy groceries. It's something to give back to the community.
Wow.
In addition to, yeah, I always, tend to give some sort of advice to people who wants to sell or want to buy. I always, try to get down to the bottom of the reason why do you want to sell or why do you want to buy, in
Mhm.
order to give them the right advice. Unlike some other people, oh yes, want to sell, oh it's the best time to sell, better time to sell, or I want to buy, that's the best time for you to buy. I always go down and say where and when. Sometimes people listen and
Mhm.
they can change their mind. Because think about it, Seema, you have to think outside the box. You have to be clever enough to direct people to where they're supposed to go in order to, I would say, like, start their ownership, or become a house owner. That's a big thing. Sometimes they shoot for a semi-detached. I said, why do you want to go for semi-detached these days? It's so expensive. You cannot afford it. How about if you start for a condo, build some equity for 4 or 5 years, and we can sell this condo later on and move forward to whatever dream in.
Great
Or
advice.
no, yes, because some people decided to say, well, I would love to wait and save. Do you think, like, regardless of how fast you save, it's going to be faster than the appreciation of a house? Of course not. Some people think it's a good idea. Some people say it's not applicable. That's why we try to sit down as people and dissect what their plan and help them out to put it together in a certain way which will help them out.
Do you see, Henny, do you see a lot more parents helping young kids buy a property nowadays?
Bank mom and dad, yes. I've started seeing it lately. However, not every community, they are willing to do that. Some of them, yeah, they're willing to give them some gift. Like I have a client, like, his dad actually, decided to give him a really, really decent chunk of money to start his own ownership, yeah. And some people, they rely heavily on their own and they think that's the best way to do it. But we always open this discussion with them and we say, how about bank mom and dad? Is it good to do or not?
Well, I have a client who himself and his wife have done really well over the years. And on my advice, they actually loaned money to both their sons to buy their own properties. So the parents have given 25% down for each of their child because they both have good jobs. If they didn't give 25% down, they wouldn't be able to get a mortgage. But
Correct.
I don't want to have kids taking advantage of the parents. So I said, you know what, you're going to get a down payment, but you're going to have to return that down payment with 4% interest. Now, mind you, parents, like some communities are different than others. You are absolutely right. But in this case, sometimes parents are too generous. They
True.
just, hand over like gifts. And if kids don't appreciate that gift, they
No way.
right? So in this
Absolutely. I know where you're coming from.
in this case, at the end of the day, I think parents are gonna leave everything for the kids, but we don't know how long we're gonna live these days, right?
True. True.
With
That's
money,
why
yeah.
that's why sometimes I try, instead of lending them money, how about if you guys have some cash, how about like you put, instead of you putting like 20% down, or how about you put 10% down and get your parents to co-sign your deal? At least you don't have to invest money, but you co-sign on the deal. 1 year later, 2 years later, we can refinance and get, your parents out of the deal, and it's going to be all yours.
Yes, and that's another great idea.
True.
Again, I deal with financial matters with my clients, and it depends on each individual family. Sometimes
True.
the best idea is to co-sign, and other times it's a great idea to just lend money,
Lend them money, yeah.
maybe heavily leveraged with their business loans, with their own homes. But the cash flow is good, so they don't mind handing out that cash, but for a return. So
Hmm.
you're right. You've given me a new idea. Just co-signing for
Co-signing is a good idea too. Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes even I offer them something called rent to own. If I have some people already have a good job, they have a good income, but they don't have enough money for down payment, we can help them get into the ownership by offer them what they call it rent to own. What I mean by rent to own is, come, you don't have to pay. All you need to do is just pay rent. And in addition, we decided, like, let's go, you are going for a $600,000 house. How much do you want to save for down payment? Oh yes, let's say 10%. That's 60 grand. How long would it take you to save this amount of money? 3 years. So you can stay in this program for 3 years, pay your rent, plus you accumulate some money, do 60 grand. After that, we transfer the house under your name, which is pretty much helping them out really, really good.
No, that's brilliant. So I've heard about this concept, but I never really understood it. So you're
Hmm.
saying that the first 3 years, owners can not owners, they are renters. So the
Correct.
house does not close until 3 years. Is that it?
It Okay. So let's put it this way. Suppose you, Seema, you're gonna go for rent to own. Hany, how much, how much you can afford. First of all, it's not like a 0%, like, you go, to the dealership and you drive off with 0%. You have to have at least minimum 3% to cover the initial cost and stuff like that. So what's going to happen is, you are going to buy a house, let's say, like, for $600,000, and we're gonna get, I would say, like, some person which is an investor, they're gonna buy the house under their name, rent it out to you. So what you're gonna do? How much this house would rent for? let's say 2,500, 2,200. 2,200, that's rent it's going to pay. So that's for him to cover his monthly mortgage payment.
Mhm.
Plus, on the other side, you save for your down payment, which is
Oh, I
the
see.
six. Uh, so 2,200 plus, like, let's say, like, 60K over 3 years. That means about 20K per year, about, like, 1,800 a month. So each and every month you have to come up with $4,000 for that particular process. After 3 years, the guy will sell you this house under your name. Okay, he will make a small margin, about 2% per year, which is nothing. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, like, if you bought it, 2020 for 600, he's gonna sell it to you in six. I would say, like, 6%. That means 36,000. So 636 after 3 years. Your house then would be
Worth a
more
lot.
than
Lot.
750. Yes,
So it's the same concept when you can borrow from parents and buy the house right
exactly,
away, or
absolutely.
a loan to buy that down payment, but the house is not yours until that down payment is paid.
Exactly, and this one in particular, really really good for people who already have really good job. However, they don't have enough, down payment, or also, like, very good for people who have their credit screwed somehow. They have late payment, they have stuff like that. And
Yeah.
instead of them coming in, and we try to put him on, what do you call it, private mortgage with high interest rate. No, why don't you rent to own for 3 4 years and fix your credit, and when your credit is up to standard, you can move back to whatever it is.
So rent to own, you don't look at the same credit score as you do for purchasing a home.
No, no, because you only deal with investor, not the bank.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
So these are private deals. These are private lenders that give you the money.
But yeah, but they don't charge you arm and a leg like private deal. Like, no,
Right,
it's not like, yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
When you get private mortgage, you own your own house, 123 Main Street. However, the private entity register a mortgage on your property, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why, like, you pay only, and in that case you only pay what they call it, interest only, because you pay only on interest. You don't pay anything from the principal perspective.
Amazing.
However, yeah, when you go for rent to own, you pay rent as if you're selling right now, plus you keep accumulating for your down payment. If
Right.
you so, and it's really good for young fellow. Why? Because it build the habit of saving for them. Imagine, like, if I have, couple, and they have some residual money. What do you all normally do? Go party, go bars, go have dinner, let's go for a trip to Mexico here and there. But if they stuck in that situation, no, it's gonna be like a mortgage
In financial planning, we call it forced saving. So
for
you're
saving.
forced to save.
Absolutely, yeah, you're right. It's you force them to save. That's correct. Yeah,
So when my clients, some of them, when I work with them, and they're earning good income, right? But of course, we don't understand the power of not saving or the negative impact of not saving at the right time. So then I put forced saving onto them, and I start a
correct.
pre-authorized program of $1,000 a week that they cannot touch. They hate me for it, but they love me at the end of the day, right?
Oh, absolutely. When you see the results, when you see the number, yeah, you're probably like, yeah, shoot, I shouldn't, save this money. I'm dying. I want to go here. I'm gonna go there. Once you have access to your money, trust me, nobody can stop you from spending. And
Exactly.
we all have, like, bad spending habits here and there.
It's not just bad spending. I think the media and the social pressure these days, we look at Facebook and we see people traveling and we want to travel too. We see people buying new furniture. We want to do that too. So once you are involved in forced saving, you kind of ignore all that. You say, okay, I have nothing.
Well, it's kind of like, the word, instead of volunteer to leave it, is going to be voluntold to leave it.
So it's recording.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Hany,
true.
my next question to you is, is this a good time to go into commercial market? I
due
mean, like
to Corona.
commercial plazas, professionals buying their own plazas, or like doctors buying their own office building, or me as a financial planner buying my own condo or a small office somewhere as opposed to renting. Do you think it's a good time for that?
No. The short answer would be no. And we can, if you don't mind me, let me dissect your question into, each and every part. Talk about the small plazas. Like if we're talking about small plazas where it has a small shops, about like 1,000, 1,200, square foot, still gonna be affected, but it's not gonna hit pretty hard. Like hair salon, it's gonna still, work as the same. Nail spa will hit hard. Some convenience store will be still the same. Some other business, it depends on where the under the essential work or not. Okay, so if your business was essential prior to or during the corona, it will be essential. After corona, it won't get hit. Or but if you were like selling furniture or you're selling clothes or stuff like that, you will
Anything
get
non-essential is
non-essential. It will get really, really hard, and you're gonna see some big vacancy rate for all this kind of small businesses. When I talk about the 1,000, 1,200, 15 to 12 to 2,000 square foot. Okay.
isn't that more attractive for someone like me who wants to buy a 1,200 square feet small office to myself and the cash flow is not an issue? But if it's a hair salon is essential. But let's say a furniture store wants to buy a big plaza that would become open for somebody who has a good cash flow.
Okay, so let's talk about it from the landlord perspective. So if I own a plaza, okay, has 10 shops, okay, and the 10 shops, six out of them were essential, were open during the COVID-19, and four had to close or forced to close during this pandemic. My my concern that time, and after the pandemic is over and stores comes back to normal, these four people might leave their premises, and I would have like a 40% vacancy rate into my plaza. Correct? Why? Because your business wasn't that, it wasn't considered to be essential. I would like to go back to your question, but I will ask you when you said, "Is it a good time for me as a Seema Sharma to buy a small office for myself because it's going to be good, low price?" Yes, of course, but I wouldn't recommend for you, Seema, to go and buy yourself an office for a couple of reasons. Why? You're going to see lots and lots and lots of closure for the office. In I would think even the office is going to change their business perspective. They might change it into condo apartment, whatever it is. Why? Think about it. Okay, how do we run our business nowadays? Via everything is virtual. Everything is virtual. Even in my business, before or prior to COVID-19, if you buy a house, the lawyer, you must attend at the lawyer office. They must see you eye to eye, okay, and ask you to sign right in front of them because he take an oath in front of the bank or the lender or whatever it is. Say yes, Seema Sharma at my office. I verify her IDs and she signed right in front of me. Guess what? They ease up the whole thing. Even the Law Bar Association of Ontario eased the whole thing. They said
Mhm.
you can do like a Zoom meeting. What you should do is, you send me a copy of your driver license.
Mhm.
Perfect. Show it to me on the camera. So you show it on the camera, okay? And okay, can you, lean the camera a little bit? Yes. Would you mind just sign this piece of paper? Yes. Show it to me. Sign this piece of paper, show it to me. Sign this piece of paper, show it to me. Now scan it. Even like if you don't know have a scan into your computer, like you don't have a big scanner, you can scan using your cell phone or your mobile phone using an app and
So
send it
business
right away.
become very, very easy,
Ex-
or with technology, there is really no need for bricks and mortars to run a business.
Brick and mortar is gonna go die, especially in the office
Yeah.
perspective. Let's go, if you don't mind, let me explain something else. Have you ever tried to buy something from two big shops such as Best Buy or Staples lately?
Mm-hmm.
You probably did. Okay, I did. I
Yeah.
do all the time. What
Yes.
you should do, you go online, place your order, and you go pick it up from the store. So for people living in Mississauga or anywhere like in GTA, do you know how Best Buy operate the business? Big, huge plaza, big buck to pay each and every month, and all they need is 500 to 1,000 square foot to run their own
Well,
business.
we're for sure, Hany. We're moving away from huge investment of property,
Exactly.
bricks and mortars, and even big financial institutions had realized that a few years back that they really didn't need all these big branches all across, and you will see them go away from it as well. They are working on a plan, most of them, to get rid of this high cost expense
Exactly.
for their business. Well,
And
it's been a pleasure talking with you, Hany, and we're gonna connect back again with you. And I want to wish you all the best for your business, for yourself. For these are tough times, very uncertain, tough times for everybody, for
of
all of our
course.
clients too. And by watching your video, I'm sure they'll pick up a few tips. It's gonna help them make the right decision for them and their
Absolutely.
family.